Morning all, how we doing? Morning Diamond. Thursdays, always a rush. Excuse me. Couple of news items before we kick off. 4 o'clock this morning we had New Zealand dollar inflation expectations go up, obviously. Very low inflation compared to everywhere else in the world. New Zealand, they're doing pretty well. Pound, we had GDP, and GDP was worse than expected. So we've had those two pre-market this morning. I haven't been here, so I haven't even looked at the charts yet. We'll have a look at those in a sec. And we've got PPI this afternoon. So we had a massive impact off of CPI yesterday. Huge candle, absolutely huge move. I was watching somebody streaming while that was happening. They blew 2 accounts, 2 evaluation accounts, trying to fade it. There's a nasty news event that was yesterday. Luckily, I shorted that. But yeah, that shows you how risky news is, doesn't it? It is very much a gamble, news trading. Morning, Tammy. PPI this afternoon. So be prepared. We may well get a decent move off the back of that as well. They could well reverse everything they did yesterday, although a lot of it does seem to have reversed already. So we'll have a look at that anyway. But DAX this morning, we've got a gap to fill. I wasn't around this morning when the exchange opened at 7. It's pushed up for 10 minutes and then accumulated, and we've literally just pulled back. So it's looking hopeful for a W reversal gap fill potentially this morning. If you look at where we are as well, it's absolutely spot on double bottom bounce. So they opened at yesterday's low basically this morning. So we'll see if they come and grab that at the open. I think that's the play for this morning. In fact, what I might do is put a quick pre-market in now with 450. And see if we can get that gap fill this morning. So it's a decent sized gap. It won't take much to fill it. So it's a good chance that they'll possibly do that this morning. So I'm just placing that on my other platform as well. Quite a bit of a risk. Never mind. Let's see. So let's have a quick look at what happened to the pound this morning. So we've dumped off the news. Not a lot. Nothing much, is it? Pound's weak anyway, but yeah, just started a new movement down. But not nothing particularly dramatic. And New Zealand dollar negative in Asia. We might get some ADRs on New Zealand dollars today. So that's off the back of the New Zealand dollar inflation expectations. Inflation expected has risen on previous, but I mean that's not really a surprise, is it? Morning, Doreen. Seeing as the way of the world at the moment. So we've got 2 minutes until the open. DAX yesterday, we had a very big rejection candle. We basically closed where we opened, pretty much. We pushed all the way back up into the 50% retracement of that previous move, and then we've closed back down again. So I'm looking for a bear day potentially today. Morning, Burke, but would like to see them try and fill that gap if they can before they do it, but we'll see. They may well come down and try and take these lows first, so we'll see if we get a retest of that open price, but looking for that gap ideally would be good. And then, yeah, down, I think, today. Continue on the bear move. So This has gone on too long to be a flag now. So somebody messaged me in Telegram yesterday about the DAX because I've been bearish on it for months now, but all the indices. But someone was saying this is looking like a flag. It's too long for a flag. A flag typically will be a pullback on a continuation move. This has been too long, I think, for a flag personally. If you look at the actual distance of the flagpole and then the actual flag, it's the same distance basically. This is just a continuation downtrend. It's much more prominent on the other indices that we're in a downtrend in the US indices. I mean, it's just less pronounced on the DAX. That's all. DAX stocks less affected. Okay, market is open. Just keep a slightly higher time frame view up. See where we go. See if we get stopped out on this opening one. I haven't got the crickets on, have I? Sec. Not very inspiring open, is it? Bit of selling coming on the US indices. DAX seems to be absorbing that quite well at the minute. It's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's looking very slow. Not a lot of volume coming in at the minute. Am I missing something why yen is going up? No, you're not. I don't know why yen's going up. I'm going to have a look at those in a minute because I'm in Swiss yen long and it's tanked. It's tanked to where I was expecting it to tank to, so I did another position. I had a pending order in on that Swiss yen because I was expecting it potentially to drop a little bit further, and it has. But yeah, no, it's not doing what I want it to. There you go, Aussie dollar yen's just hit its weekly range, 125% of its weekly range already. Morning, Stevie. CAD yen hit its weekly range as well. Selling coming in on the DAX and all indices are going to get stopped out on this one. Looks like they're going to take it lower. Or potentially double bottom. So good buying spot there. Very tiny stop. I'm not going to add to it though. I'm already in it. New Zealand yen daily range reached. That's New Zealand obviously come down on that news, coupled with slightly strong yen. I was just thinking of buying another DAX. Good rejection off these lows. We've still got 1 minute 43 left on this candle. I'm just going to let this candle play out. I don't want to jump in because it looks like it's getting absorbed down here. Monthly range on New Zealand yen hit. That's not bad. On the 12th of the month, we've already done a monthly range on New Zealand dollar yen. Okay, so all that selling's been absorbed on the DAX. The Dow is sitting at the lows. We've made new lows on the S&P and on the Nasdaq, but the DAX and the Dow have absorbed all that selling pressure. So if we get any buying coming in now, we should get a little run which might be all they need to just pop up and get this done. $40. Taking a second position, just reducing my stops up just under that low. So very tight opening range there. Retested the lows. Well, it's not not very volatile this morning, is it? Market's tired out after yesterday. No, selling's coming in. Going to get stopped out on these. Not a lot of liquidity. What I might do is try and get in with some wide, mind you, just thinking about it, isn't it? There's certainly more selling than buying coming in this morning, but we don't seem to be getting anywhere. I was just going to say I was going to put slightly wider stops on and just try and scale in to a couple of positions, because what they may well do is come down and try and take out this, retest this low down here. So I was going to get in with something that's going to give me a stop slightly lower, and see if they come and retest this area and then bounce back up again. But they seem to be retesting this area, and it seems to be holding at the moment. CAD yen hit ADR. There we go, we're off. Okay. Adding a buy stop above the highs to add one more position on. If we get there. Come on, make your mind up. Dorian, I must say I like the market reversal indicator. It works well for me on H4 time frame. Only requires patience to trade on H4 since there are fewer signals. Yeah, H4 is the, in my opinion, is the best time frame to look at for direction. Daily's a little bit too slow for most people. Swing trading, it's great for swing trading, but you'll be sitting there waiting weeks to months to get to an area you're interested in a swing. 4 hour, you get much more swings, and obviously it's really good for identifying trend of direction and swing points, and obviously entering on lower time frames, which is the whole premise behind the H4 M15 strategy. Identifying where you want to go on H4 and getting in on M15 when you see the reversal starting to happen. But yeah, H4 was my bread and butter for a long time. Still is really, but last few weeks, not so much. Since Putin decided to screw the market. Took a few shorts on Aussie dollar yen at 90.81. Seems overextended. Yeah, but have a look at the yens in a minute. Okay, another indecision candle. I might have been a bit premature on this, but it's just nothing coming in at all. So we're going to be pushed around by big orders this morning. Whoever decides to dump large contracts in this morning is going to really decide where we're going to go. There's not any liquidity. There's no buying and selling, fighting it out at the minute. It's just looks algorithmic. Not going to be a good morning, I don't think, unfortunately. Coming back down to retest those lows. Swiss yen 125 of its average weekly range, so that's coming down, I can tell. Some long. Wow, slow. Okay, well, that's not going anywhere. So we'll watch the crickets basically and just see if we get any volume coming in. Not selling volume, buying volume. No, I'm going to stop out again. Wow, good morning. $1,200 loss. Nice one. Good start to the morning. Right, cancelling the pending. Not playing the long. So one sec. I don't know, 1,080. Not as bad as I thought. Right, let's have a look at the other instruments. This isn't doing anything this morning. No strength in the market at all. Right, ADRs. We've got quite a few ADRs this morning. CAD yen. Just move that out the way a little bit. CAD yen dropped down. ADR just hit ADR. So looking at all these yens, we've got a bit of strength starting to show now. Oops, I forgot to put a stop loss on that one. Oh my god. That's a stupid mistake. Sorry, I just it's another $300. $1,300 this morning. That's not much fun. So these yens basically, they are strengthening up. There's nothing news-wise. I was looking at Financial Juice quickly before I came on. There's nothing news-wise about the yen that's come out that would indicate that there should be any strength in the yen. It's all about the UK this morning. So I'm not quite sure why we're getting this strength in the yen. It's likely because of off the back of the CPI figures. So obviously we saw this week it's been very flat, very dead. We've been waiting for something to move the market, and it was the CPI figures yesterday. Obviously everything went absolutely crazy yesterday. So forecasts and projections on the Fed rate changes shifted yesterday. So obviously the institutions and the banks shifted their monetary policy accordingly, which is why we saw that big shift happening yesterday in most of the currencies. You're kidding me. Sorry. Buy one more on the DAX. We've still got 5 seconds left, Odd, but I'm scaling above. Whoops. So yeah, so obviously the banks shifted their views. So obviously it looks like there's some money gone into the yen off the back of the CPI figures, and it's obviously kicked in today. Excuse me. During the Asian session. So we got a big move coming down on the yen at the moment, but there's not really any reason for strength on the yen at present. So it's more of a case of, I think, what we're seeing at the moment. So just adding some more on my other account, long on the DAX. We're seeing some temporary strength, but I don't think it's going to be sustained because there's nothing fundamental changed on the yen. So although we might get a bit of temporary strength, we're more than likely, I think, going to go into a range or go into a slight sort of flag-ish pattern, so a downward trend in that respect. So I don't think this is sustained, but we've got a lot of ADR hits this morning. So a lot of these are good to look at potentially for long opportunities. So if you look at 4 hour, we're extended now on the CAD yen. We're coming down into a lovely area of potential support here. So these highs, lows, yeah, we just retested that. Swiss yen, we're in this area that I was looking at previously, which is more on the 4 hour chart. So this accumulation here before we pushed up and started the move up to the next leg higher, we're in this area at the moment. So I added my second position in there. I've got a buy stop sitting above there to scale in to get out when we come back up into this area here. So I think they're all moving down nicely, obviously, but they're all very nicely extended at the minute, and they're in good areas where I think we're probably going to get some kind of decent reaction. So these are all pretty good ADR opportunities as far as I'm concerned this morning. Euro yen being the best of the lot. We've got a massive euro weakness going on at the moment. If you look at all the euro pairs, they're all coming down very, very nicely. So I think at the moment euro yen is probably the best out of the bunch. I'd rather see it down in this zone here, but obviously we are just tapping into this area at the minute as well. So if we get this yen strength, this intermediate yen strength sort of waning, then we'll probably see this just grind back up again, but I would be short. I'm short of the euro all the time anyway. So so a few good ADR opportunities. You probably just have an alert on that one. No, it's miles away. It's going to be difficult to get in on this. It's too far away. So what we're looking for is potentially another leg down and then a push up. Your reversal alert will then be here. That would be a decent entry. It's too far away to get in up there. You'd kind of have to take this on price action. It looks very much like CPI yesterday. And New Zealand dollar yen as well. Obviously that is massively extended on the 4 hour. We got extended. We had a little push up and then we collapsed again. We just hit ADR. Levels on this, we've got this area here and here. There's potential support resistance. which we're approaching. So somewhere in the 125 to 175 ADR range today, I would look to potentially take a long on that one. My God, this DAX is driving me crazy this morning. Pound yen just hit its monthly range as well. ADR and pound yen. I've got 20 seconds left. I'm looking for bullish engulfing at least on this. If it doesn't give me a bullish engulfing, kind of clearing the decks at the minute. Okay, we've got a bullish engulfing. I want to adjust that, but I can't get buy stop on that. Okay, so looking for a retest. Oh, what's that? Stop loss. Hey? Oh, sorry, I put the wrong order on. Buy stop. There we go. Oh my God. Right, I'm out. Oh, nightmare. Oh, that was close. Just my stop loss on my other account is here. I thought I just got stopped out. I'm probably going to get stopped out on it, but this is a nightmare. I'm not going to trade this anymore this morning. If this one doesn't work, this thing's all over the place. Yeah, I'm stopped out. I'm just closing it. Not interested. Right, yeah. So all the yen's obviously coming down. I want to see the New Zealand dollar yen get back down into this area here, 125, 175. That'd be a good place to start looking for long opportunities. So lots of potentials on the yen pairs this morning. As I say, there's not really any fundamental reason why the yen should be powering up at the minute. So I think it's probably just temporary. Aussie dollar yen's just hit as well. It's probably just a reach for levels, basically. So look at where we're going on the Aussie yen. So we've got this accumulation in here. So again, 125, 150. Somewhere around there would be a good level to start looking for reversal alerts. The problem today you're going to have is you're going to find it very difficult on some of these to get in because we got such a strong push down on some of these. It will just continue down and the reversal alert will be a long way away. So also look for bullish engulfings, look for hammers as potential reversal patterns as well, because you might not get the reversal alerts because they're too strong, like the New Zealand dollar yen one. It's just not New Zealand dollar yen. What's the other one we just looked at? Pound or euro? Euro. So you see it's just a little bit too far away because we've just had such a strong sell-off on it. So look for signs of strength starting to come through. Right, weeklies. There's a lot of weeklies here. We're on Thursday. A lot of these are yen. So bear in mind, obviously, if you look at things like this on the weekly chart, it's a big down candle. So we quite often will get a pullback off of the lows before the end of the week. So Thursdays is quite often a reversal day. So these reaches to ADRs today will quite possibly be reaches to levels where they're going to pull back from. So 150 on New Zealand dollar yen. So that's got down to 150. It's like 150? No, it wasn't 150. What was I looking at? Oh, sorry, that's the weekly. 150 of its weekly range. So lots of opportunities for reversals on the yen pairs. As I say, I've got the Swiss yen on. I've got that additional position, so I'm not going to put any more on this one. Looking for a pullback basically up into here. And obviously watching what we're doing here as well in this accumulation before that drop. So looking for them to come back up and retest this area basically at some point. Jesus, look at this DAX. Unbelievable price action. I'm just trying to look at a way to trade this. I can't see a way to trade it. The only thing I can suggest this morning is buy it down here, sell it up here, and get out in the middle somewhere. It's just not conducive to trading this morning, this thing. I've hit my daily loss limit, so I can't trade anymore today anyway on my main account. But that's just whipsawed me out completely this morning. Right, ADRs, RSIs. There's nothing on the RSIs at the moment, apart from the ends on the hourly. So looking at, you obviously see these on the ADRs anyway, but pound yen has hit ADR, and we're nicely extended down here now. We've been stuck sideways on this for such a long time, as we have with all of these yen pairs. So if you look at all these yens, we've just been stuck in a week-long accumulation on them. So the move that started yesterday off of CPI is continuing. So one leg down, second leg down. We could well get a third leg on them before we get that reversal. We're nicely extended there. 4 hour, we're really extended as well. So we're looking for this kind of movement to come back off of these moves. So maybe V-shaped reversals on these, because there's nothing fundamental on them. They are just price manipulations. So quite possibly we'll get a V-shaped recovery on all of these. Likelihood is they will wait until the news to do that. So 1:30 this afternoon, PPI will potentially be what we see that movement coming in the form of. But we'll have to wait and see what happens during the London session. What I'd like to see them do is kind of sit and accumulate a little bit around the London session, not on the 4 hour chart, obviously, on the 15-minute chart. So just see them sort of chop around down here in London, and then opportunity to take it back up. So RSIs, we've got pound yen. So you can be looking on M5 for reversal alerts, same as you would on ADR. New Zealand dollar yen, same thing, nicely extended, and look at that on M5 for reversal alerts. So wait for that one there, looking for that nice W pattern when the reversal alert kicks in. And New Zealand dollar Swiss, New Zealand dollar CAD, we've just had a reversal alert on that one. Nice bullish move, and we are just retesting now. So we just retested. So potentially looking for that sort of price action. So that's looking pretty good. We haven't hit ADR on the New Zealand dollar CAD. All the rest of these New Zealand dollar pairs are weak. during Asia, but they haven't dropped massively. I can't believe that thing is going now without me. What a nightmare session. I haven't been chopped around like that for ages. It's just very, very, very frustrating. It's going to go and do the gap fill now. How far have we got to the gap? We've got 136 on my other. I tell you what, these broker charts, the way they measure pips and everything, completely different on every broker. 56 on this. Do we have one more go? I'm not sure the risk rewards there now. It's just not enough, is it? If you look at this on the 15-minute chart, that's a lovely rejection of these lows. I'm going to go one more long. I'm going to keep a fairly tight stop on this one, just reducing risk. Okay, I'm going to go under there. No, oh my God. Sorry, bear with me a sec. I'm just setting up some pending orders. I can't use EAs on my funded account, so I'm just having to manually set everything up, which is really annoying. I'll be with you in a minute. Sorry about this. Right. This total Christmas tree territory, look, just red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. When this breaks, this is going to break with some massive vigor in one direction or the other. Haven't seen it be this nasty for a while. And now they've frozen my platform, which is even better. Right, anyway, ignore that for a minute. Oh my God, look at it. More selling coming in. Right. That is my last shot on that. I've had enough today of them already. Okay, so there's your hourlies. 4 hourlies, it's looking pretty similar. It's yen based and euro based, and some pounds in there as well. So Aussie dollar CAD, we're nicely extended down there. We are in a downtrend on the Aussie dollar at the moment. Canadian dollar should continue to be strong, but we're not seeing as much strength on the CAD at the moment. Oil prices have kind of stabilized, although they're still high, they've stabilized. So that will mean that the CAD will continue to be strong. but not dramatically strong. So any strength we see on the Aussie dollar can quite easily push back. So we should see some normalization starting to come into it. So nicely extended on the 4 hour here. From a levels perspective, there's nothing really of interest that we're coming to at the minute until we get back down to these lows. So where we are now is here. We had a little accumulation around that spot as well. So there is potential for a bounce here. I would be much happier to see it get down to 100, 125 ADR today. If we can get down to there, I'd be much more interested in looking for a bounce and looking for it to come back up there. So there's a lot more risk reward in it getting down here. So it's not quite ripe yet, although it's starting to show signs of turning. We've had the reverse alert on M5 this morning, which is retested. M15 we've just had one and a retest as well. So it's looking potentially like it's starting to show signs of bullishness, but so I'm just watching the DAX. Just gathered me up into the second position on this. I'm so tempted just to keep hitting the buy button every couple of pips at the minute, just to build up a big position to get out here. But it's really, really, really not how you should do it. I know it stopped. It's just no liquidity in the market at all at the moment. Closed out just above break even in the last push. Yeah. Horrible. So yeah, Aussie dollar CAD, just about, I say, it's just about extended on the 4 hour. We're getting more extended, so it's looking good down here. But as I say, I'd like it to be a little bit deeper. If we can get another sort of half an ADR out of it today, I may be interested in taking a long on that one. Aussie dollar yen coming down very hard. So looking at levels on this, we're coming down into this accumulation here. So this is where I'd be interested, as I say, 125 to 150. So I'd like to see it get really nicely extended. So if we get any further extension on the Aussie dollar yen, I'd be interested in that. It's not quite extended enough yet. Swiss yen, I'm already in. We are still pushing down on this at the minute. So very, very strong move. I've got my stop set at 150. I'm not going to get any deeper than that. So I'm going to start getting out some of these positions when we get down there. I've got a pending order set here as well. As you can see, that's a pending. So looking for basically some rejection out of this area off the 72. And then I'll get into another position and then look to get out back up here. Euro pound, missed it already. So you had to take this one this morning. Couldn't forecast this massive drop on the euro at the open. So yeah, that's, I suspect, off the back of the UK rates. The UK news. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing you could do about that one. You couldn't really get into that this morning. So if it comes back up and it retests somewhere, then there's an entry short on that one. But I'm not. It's a bit difficult, the euro pound at the moment. It's one of those pairs which is a bit of a mess. The euro's been stomping over the pound at the moment. We are just up at the highs, and we've basically just swept those highs and rejected. So if we're going to stay range bound on this, as we have been for many months, this is the absolute range high, and would expect it to start to come down. That's going to require the pound to strengthen up, though, or the euro to weaken. And both of those are weak currencies. So I can't really see the pound strengthening up specifically. So it's a difficult one to trade. It's not my favourite pair at the moment, that one. Euro New Zealand, 175 on the Euro Yen. Blimey. Euro New Zealand, obviously, same thing. We hit hit RSI on that one earlier in the week, and obviously we started to push down. We came up, we've just taken all that liquidity and reversed. So beautiful reversal up there. That looks really good for a short. Pound yen 125. This yen is going crazy. So yeah, lovely Euro New Zealand short. That's a lovely opportunity to get in short. I'm short already on Euro odd, which is the same thing. Euro New Zealand, Euro odd. So I've got the same play happening. We double topped and we've completely rejected that double top. So looking basically for a drop from the highs up there. This is the initial area I'm watching. This is where I'm targeting down here. Jesus, what are you doing, DAX? Right, giving this a wider berth today. So yeah, I'm on the Euro odd version of the Euro New Zealand. Looking for that basically now to start its reversal. So very nicely extended. We got that initial push back down into here. I didn't get out down here. I should have done. This was the move down here. I should have exited some of the position down here, but I didn't. I got stopped out in a little bit before we reversed down, and then we completely put a V-shaped recovery in, and now we've pushed up and taken out the liquidity. So this looks to me like we've completely cleared the decks now, and a very nice drop ahead. So I'm holding this as long as I can. Hopefully this will pay for some of my DAX. So yeah, Euro Pound, anything Euro at the moment. If you could get a pullback, so I'm in Euro CAD as well, short, that's in profit now. Targets are down here. In fact, I might even extend some of those. Let's extend these ones down to the lows. I doubt we're going to get 175 ADR today, but the way this is dropping at the minute, who knows? So yeah, I'm in this one short as well, Euro CAD. This was extended on the 4 hourly there. So scaled in and looking to get out somewhere down there, but potentially, obviously, with Euro CAD, we could easily take out these lows and continue down. We've got a strong CAD, we've got a weak Euro. Lagarde didn't say anything particularly interesting yesterday that's going to power the Euro up. So yeah, just looking for a continuation short. The pounds. So we've got a few pounds, obviously pound yen, dropping like a tank at the minute, as with all the other yens. So very nicely extended. Pound is very weak. Yen is, or has been, very weak. This is obviously the main support resistance area. Let's get this buying coming in now. You couldn't make this up today. You really couldn't. I haven't seen the DAX do this for a long time. This is an M1 day. Literally. If you were scalping a range on M1 now, you would be about 5.5 grand up. Seriously, this thing is just unbelievable today. It's evil. Doesn't matter whether you're long or short in the market, you are literally just being ripped to pieces. Everybody. Apart from Tammy, who seems to be making some money out of it somehow. Good job if you are. It's just interesting to watch it. Forgetting about the money aspect, but just what's going on in the algorithms here. The algorithms are literally just holding it. You know this thing is going to explode in a minute. Sometime in the next hour, this thing is just going to explode. One way or the other. I just don't know what we're waiting for. See if is there any yellow news we could use this morning? It's just nothing. There's no news. Anywho, get days like this. Just have to live with them. So yeah, pound yen, very nice extended. Levels wise, it's a tricky one. This is where I would be looking to be interested in the pound yen. We've got this big accumulation here for weeks. This area of balance, we were happy to trade there. We did a price discovery to the downside, weren't interested, and we found strength obviously on the weak yen to the upside. So we're tapping into this area at the minute. These highs here where we accumulated before we moved up. So potentially this is a support. Not quite sure how strong the support is. So I've just realised I've got a pending order on the DAX, which I don't want to trigger. Do I want to trigger it? Oh, I've already triggered it. I just triggered a pending at these highs. Long. I think I'm going to regret this. Nice bullish engulfing though, and we are getting some buying coming in on the US indices. So this could be it. I'm just not sure where we're going today if we're going long. Apart from gap fill, which is not enough. It's just not enough risk reward. Doesn't matter how much you look at it. I really don't know where that's going today, so I'm not going to trade it anymore. So yeah, pound yen in a fairly good area at the minute. I'd like to see it a lot deeper actually, but this could be it. As I say, with all these yens, there's a good possibility they are literally just reaching for levels to get exhausted and then fly back the other way. So ADR reversal, obviously 4-hour extension. If you're going to get in right down here when you're this extended, you know by the time we've had a little bit more of a push, we're going to get that spring back. We are very, very extended. The elastic band is really stretched. We are ready to pounce on all these yens. So it's just a case of when they're going to stop and when they're going to start their reversals coming through, which is obviously the bit we don't know. Pound US dollar. US dollar is incredibly strong at the minute. No reason why it should stop being strong. Very difficult to get into this. I'm looking for shorts on it. I'm not taking any longs down here. You will probably get pullbacks, but the pullbacks could be anywhere. It's difficult to tell where we're going to pull back to, but I'm looking for us to get back into this area to start looking for some short opportunities. By then the 24 should be coming down on top. That's where I'll be looking to get in. Okay, gap fill's about to be completed on the DAX. New Zealand dollar CAD, again, very extended. We've looked at this one already on the hourly. We're extended on the hourly. We've just sprung back up again. New Zealand dollar CAD. We are getting very embedded here. The Canadian dollar is just so strong off the back of oil at the moment. If you've got any currency that is any way, shape or form weak, it is just going to get trampled on by the CAD at the moment. So looking for short opportunities on this really. Not going to get any at the moment. It's very difficult to get into. It's one of those you've just got to get into a position on it and hope you get in before it does the drop. So I'm looking for pullbacks. We've got obvious levels of support and resistance in here. So any time we pull back into the 24.72 zone, I'll be looking to short it, assuming that we continue in the current vein we've got with oil. And the New Zealand dollar continues to be week and nothing fundamental changes on that. So just looking for an opportunity to get in short on it, but can't. So if you're taking this long, it is counter trend, obviously. So it's a nice mean reversion opportunity, nicely extended. But for me, I hate it when you get this tight, consolidated moves down. If it comes down like that nicely, where you can put in obvious support and resistance levels, that's what I like to see. This sort of stuff, you've no idea where to get out. So when you're taking a long, there's just no obvious target. So it makes it very difficult to take a long position. Every time you take a position, the first thing you've got to think is, where am I getting out? Where's this going to go? Where am I going to take my profit? If you can't see an obvious place to take profit on it, you shouldn't be taking the trade. Where it's going is the most important thing, because without knowing where it's going, you can't calculate a risk reward. You can't just say, I'll go long on it with a 3-to-1 risk reward. Why? If you're going to put a stop there and your reward's going to be there, what makes you think it's going to get there? You've got to have a reason for price to get to a level, and there's nothing on that at the moment, so it's just not a good mean reversion candidate at all. New Zealand dollar yen, same as the rest. That's come down to 82.44. So to the pip on that support there, potential resistance there, which turns support, which will turn support now if that holds. So again, this one, that's what I mean by an obvious target. Yeah, that is an obvious target. Yeah, so it's very obvious that if we are going to get support and resistance playing as it should do, that is going to become resistance, or that is going to become resistance. Yeah, so look at the accumulations and the drops. Those propulsion gaps that you get drawn in, that one there, after the accumulation is support breaking. That will become resistance, which is why price is attracted back into these propulsion gaps. That's why they work. So that's a nice looking long opportunity. M5 just had the reversal alert off of a 125 ADR. So you can either take it there, or you can wait for a pullback and take it when it breaks back above, which gives you your W pattern reversal. I'm in Swiss yen. I'm not getting into more than 1 yen. I can't justify getting in overexposed on the yen anymore. The minute I decide to sell at the high, to get into the range, it'll break out. So I'm just reading that after that is exactly what has happened. He could make it up this morning. It's just a horrible session. I'm sitting on $1,100 in profit now on the FTSE and the DAX, but I'm $2,200 down, so I'm holding these. The gap fill's done. That's interesting. Gap fill on my other platform. Very, very different. So that's my DAX on another account that I'm running. That's the gap fill there, and it's done it to the pip. Look, there's the gap, there's the fill. Completely different on this one. The gap's there. Just shows you what difference a broker makes, isn't it? How much difference there is. So that has hit literally to the pip on the gap on the other account. I'm holding that long though. I'm not letting that go. I want my money back, please, Mr. Broker. So I've got a FTSE running long along with the DAX at the minute. I got gathered up into that. I wasn't going to get into that. That was a lucky one, I have to be honest. I wasn't going to get into that DAX. You heard me trying to cancel it, but it gathered me up before I got in. But just how it happens, that's the one that goes. And this just shows you how important it is to be in the trade that works. This is what people constantly say to me about the indicators and everything. What's the strike rate? No idea what the strike rate is on my indicator or any indicator, because the strike rate on an indicator is dependent on the trades that you take with it. So if you look at the market reversal alerts indicator, that was a beautiful textbook reversal alert and retest drop. Yeah, if you didn't take that one, that's not part of your statistics. Yeah, if I hadn't have had that pending order sitting on the DAX to go long, then I wouldn't be sitting now in $500 of profit on that. I would be sitting there with all of my loss and none of it being gained again. And this is why you can't give anybody any kind of strike rate information on anything, because if you didn't get into that trade, you didn't make all this money. The people that did get into this trade have made all this money. Yeah, and the people that are going to get into this one here, if this flies back up to here, are going to make loads of money. If you don't, it's not part of your statistic, is it? So, it just shows you how important it is to be in the right place at the right time in trading, and why it's all a numbers game. It's a zero-sum game, and it's basically, if you're in it when it moves, you're in it and you're going to make money. If you're not in it when it moves and you miss it, you miss it. You just got to take the next opportunity and hope that that's the one that moves. Like yesterday, I caught that short yesterday on the DAX. I got in here. As soon as I saw it dump on the news, I got in here and I rode it and got out there. If I hadn't have taken that one, I'd be $1,000 lighter, wouldn't I? It's just, you got to take it, get in, get out, and you just take what the market gives you when it gives it to you. If this thing comes back down now and breaks me at break even, I'm not going to make any money on it. I'm going to hold it though, and assume that we're going to do the gap fill and we're going to continue to push. It's going to need to pull back, obviously, to gather up some power, but we're looking long on the DAX. So looking at the DAX on the higher time frames as to where we're headed, obviously when you're looking at this on a higher time frame, we've got all of these gaps up here to potentially come up and retest. So we had this big strong drop out of this accumulation at the highs. We haven't come up and retested that at all yet, that whole zone. So there is potential for the DAX to basically put in that sort of move before its next leg down. So we're looking for shorts obviously on it, because it's bearish, and we had that lovely big push, but it's retested 50% of it. There's nothing to stop it basically doing that before it comes down to its next leg. It's very, very shallow, like this one here is a prime example. So that move there, we came back and tested it, pulled back, came back and tested higher, then dropped. So that kind of movement is potentially what we're seeing playing out. So whereas I was looking for shorts after the gap fill, potentially that's going to play out. And the strength of that move this morning on the DAX kind of tells me there are a lot of buyers on the stocks. Remember, that's what I said yesterday, the day before, why I was looking for an update this day is because stocks are cheap. When the prices have dropped that hard, that fast, stocks become cheap. People buy cheap stocks. So you tend to get a buying flurry. And this is why the market moves like it does. It's people buying cheap, selling, buying cheap. And as long as there's cheap stocks out there, people will buy them. When prices get extended and overbought, people sell stocks. We're just looking at it on obviously much, much smaller macro levels. But the gap fill is done. So there is potential for it now, obviously, to open the floodgates south as well. So personally, though, if we get any kind of bullish price action coming in here, I think it's probably a nice looking long this morning, just based on that. Yeah, we've had 10 minutes of solid buying out of an accumulation. Yeah. I said it was going to go, didn't I? Horrible morning, though. Horrible morning. Right, has anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at in particular? I've covered everything on the RSI extensions on the 4 hour and the hourly. Obviously ADRs, most of this is yen based this morning. We've got a few others. No, it's not others, is it? It's all yen based. So the whole market movement this morning is yen based. So we're looking at these yens basically to start to sort of accumulate, ready for a pullback, or literally just do a reversal on this massive drop that we've had. So I can't see, I mean, obviously with this manipulation, likelihood is this is going to get faded, especially on the euro. Look at the euro, 175 by the first hour of London. That's an incredible move. All these euros, very, very nice drops this morning. Euro CAD very nicely in profit. I've got a bit further to go on euro odd. But yeah, euro's still coming down. So euro yen, I would probably say be a bit careful with that one. But all the others, potentially decent opportunities for reversals. Pound yen and euro yen RSI low on the hourly. So just got a bit more extended on those two. So nicely embedded. We haven't been down there for a while. So last time we got down here was there, but that was the first leg down. And then obviously it came down hard, but that was a fundamental shift. So this one should pull back up into there. 160, 300 level is what I'd be looking for. Okay, anybody got anything else I want to look at or discuss? So DAX, there's a few levels on the DAX. I'd be looking at the those bodies there. We had a lot of rejection at those bodies. So we weren't interested in getting through there before we dropped. Those are obviously the highs prior to that. So pulling back, obviously that wick there, or that candle there, basically, was the bullish engulfing before the propulsion move. So literally any point in here could be a retest. And these areas obviously are of interest. So I would be looking really for pullbacks into here, 20. If we're going to go long, that is. Obviously, if this is just a gap fill and dump, then that's what it is. But if it's going to be a long, that's where I'd be targeting to get in. 135.71, 135.61. So you've got a 10-point gap there, potentially, for longs, if you want to get in it. Assuming we're going to go long, that is. Don't forget we are in a downtrend. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But that's all I'm playing this morning. Last chance saloon on that. I haven't got into it on this account, but I'm in it on my other one. So need to analyse that this morning. That was a horrible, horrible session. What I should have done in hindsight, I know what I should have done in hindsight, is been watching the hourly levels on it. Sorry, the 15-minute levels on this. That's what I should have been focused on. But should have had stops below the lows. That was an obvious liquidity run. But yeah, hindsight is a wonderful thing. But this is what you need to do when you get days where you get hammered like that. Why did I get hammered like that? Because I got in too tight with my stops. The idea was spot on. It was exactly right. Just too tight. But hey. Right, I'll leave it there, guys. If you need anything else, I'll be in the Telegram group. As I say, I'm just going to manage. At the moment, I've got Swiss yen long, which I'm in. I'm stopping out on that at 150. I've got euro odd short, which I've got my targets way down on that, and the euro CAD short, which I've got targets about 125 ADR is today's TP1 on that, so I'll be getting out on that down there. Apart from that, I've got those on. I'm not really looking to get into anything else at the minute. I've got a yen on already, so I'm not looking to take any yens. Yen's basically what's moved today, so I'm not going to extend myself anymore on the yen because I'm already fairly deep into the yen. So nothing else that I'm really interested in getting into. But obviously you can see all these ADRs today on the yens. We've got the extensions on the 4-hour and the hourly RSIs to look at for mean reversions, but they're all kind of in the wrong direction. It's very hard to get into anything on a trend at the moment because it's all just dropping so hard. So but US dollar, we don't look at the US dollars, but US dollars, looking for long opportunities on those. Let's look at CPI. This is another good textbook example of news trading. CPI long, they did that, everyone went long, they put their stops under there, they came straight down, they took out their stops, and now we're going to start the next leg up on the US dollar. Typical stop hunt behaviour. So yeah, the decks are cleared for longs now on the US dollar. So we've pulled back down into this accumulation on US dollar Swiss, retested it, and we've taken everybody's liquidity that's gone long all week. So we're clear longs. When we get the news coming in this afternoon at 1:30 for PPI, that's when I would expect to see the next move up on the US dollar, assuming of course it's not some hideous news for US dollar. So that's kind of the play for the US dollars. But again, I've got loads of euro on at the minute. So I'm not taking anything else at present. Right, we're just tapping into this area now, into the 20. So if we get some bullish price action coming out of here, anywhere down here, but this is the most obvious area. We may well come back down and retest this for a long as well. So see, but this is a good area. It's just rejecting out of it nicely now. I've got 3 minutes left on this candle though. Wait for this 5-minute candle to close. If it closes bullish, or the next candle closes bullish, good potential for next leg up. But I wouldn't look, if you're going to long this, I wouldn't look at it's difficult to pick a spot on this, but I wouldn't look at going too much higher than that area there today. Just to be safe, if you want to be super risky, assume that we're going to put a couple of legs, daily legs up in, but I'm too bearish on it to go much further than that today. Wouldn't want to get anywhere near ADR, I don't think, today. All right, I'll leave it there, guys. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. And I'll be back tomorrow morning 7:50. Be aware of the news this afternoon, 1:30 on the PPI. We'll get some movement off of that, I'm sure. So I'd be looking for long opportunities on the US dollar on that off the news. So I don't think I'm going to trade it, to be honest, unless this trade works this morning on the DAX. I've kind of hit my loss limit for the day, so I can't really take any more trades this afternoon on that one, but I would look for longs off of that, hopefully. Okay, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow 7:30, same time. Sorry, 7:50, same time. But I'll be in the Telegram group if you need me. Have a good one.